Ryan sat on the couch with his daughter and gingerly and tenderly looked at his daughter all wrapped up in a blanket. She needed to get up early to get ready for school, but he decided to let her sleep another 5 minutes. There was a family photo on her bedside table with the happy and smiling mother, father, and little daughter. Ryan sadly looked at it. He remembered that day clearly. It was their last trip together. His wife suggested having a picnic in a nice park on the other side of town. Ryan complained the whole drive since they got stuck in a terrible traffic jam. There wasn't a closer place to choose? He asked his wife unhappily while driving. No, we had to drag ourselves to the other side of town. What's so bad about the park a few blocks away? Ryan said, not calming down. Stop complaining. It's quite beautiful there, you'll see, she said, looking at him softly. There's also a lake with swans there. Lily will be over the moon. The day was wonderful. They had a magnificent time. Ryan even agreed to take a picture, even though he didn't love them and usually avoided it. A month later, his wife got very sick. The cancer had hidden until the very end, and when it was found, it was too late. The disease consumed her in just a matter of months. All that was left of his beloved wife were memories and a couple of photo albums that she loved to make. His daughter kept him from falling apart entirely. Lily was about 3 then. Ryan's mother, Grace, came to help. She helped her with everything. Lily was almost 7 now, and it was her first year in school. Time to wake up, grasshopper, Ryan said, coming out of his memories and gently kissing his daughter on the head. He always called Lily Grasshopper at home because of her energy and restlessness and for always running around and jumping no matter where she was. Okay, Daddy, I'm getting up, she answered. She crawled out of bed lazily and slowly went to the bathroom. Hurry up, Grasshopper. Breakfast is on the table and Grandma is on her way. Thankfully, Grace lived just a few blocks away, so she always took Lily to school and took her home and took care of her until Ryan got back from work. Recently, Ryan started noticing that his always smiling and energetic Lily had seemed sad, thoughtful, and got up for school unenthusiastically. He asked her if everything was okay at school many times, if one of her classmates was mean to her, but she said everything was fine and not to worry. The doorbell rang. Grace was here. Ryan walked through the kitchen and told his mother that he was worried about Lily. Drop it, don't worry. She just started school and is adjusting. I met her teacher, Mrs. Moore, and she's an experienced teacher. She's strict and demanding, sure, but discipline will be good for Lily because you've spoiled her, Grace said to her son. Ryan thought he probably didn't need to worry. Grace was probably right, and Lily just needed time. His daughter was growing up and wouldn't always be his little, busy grasshopper. Calmed down slightly, Ryan went to work at the car shop. He was a good mechanic and was respected by clients and coworkers, and had a great relationship with his boss. After another hard day at work, Ryan went home. The weather went south with strong winds and rain. By his car, he noticed a young woman on the other side of the street trying to hold onto her umbrella that was being knocked around by the wind. A strong gust knocked it out of her hand and carried it across the road. The upset woman chased after it. Ryan ran to help her. That's how he met Caitlin. She worked in a shop on the corner. Caitlin was a fit, pretty brunette with brown eyes. Ryan offered to take her home, and she, although a bit wary, agreed. They had a pleasant chat on the way home, and Ryan noticed that for the first time after his wife's death, talking with a woman was pleasant and interesting. A series of dates came after. They enjoyed their time together, always had something to talk about, and after a few months, Caitlin started mentioning to Ryan that it was time to stop going on dates. They were adults, and it was time to legitimize their relationship. Ryan wasn't opposed, but he didn't fully agree. He couldn't completely figure out how he felt about Caitlin. While they were dating, she never asked about Ryan's daughter and didn't pressure meeting her. To take the relationship to the next level, Caitlin invited Ryan to dinner at home to meet her mom. Caitlin's mother worked in a school and made a great first impression as a kind, sweet woman. She constantly told Ryan about her daughter's merits, praised the dinner Caitlin made, and took good care of Ryan. After getting home late, Ryan noticed that the light was on in Lily's room. He knocked and entered and was surprised to see his tiny grasshopper not sleeping. She was sitting at her desk with a notebook, trying to do something with her tiny fingers. "Grasshopper, why aren't you sleeping?" Ryan asked. Lily looked away from her notebook. When he saw her, Ryan felt something catch in his chest. Lily looked pale, exhausted, and miserable. "I forgot to do my homework. I'm going to finish it, then go to sleep," she said in a half whisper. "Homework? Strange. That's the first I've heard that Lily has homework," Ryan thought, but stayed silent. "Okay, I'll wait for you, then I'll read you a book," he said, kissing her on the head. "Okay, Daddy," Lily said, smiling a bit. Ryan couldn't get Lily out of his head the next day. He thought something was happening with his daughter that was making her sad and miserable. Ryan asked his boss if he could pick Lily up from school. He wanted to meet her teacher and see if everything was okay with Lily at school. He got there early before class ended. Ryan quietly went to Lily's classroom door and started listening. What he heard horrified him. The experienced teacher that Grace praised was rude to the children and said they were stupid and that the pumpkins in the field might be smarter than they are. Ryan wanted to knock, but the bell rang, and the kids started running out. Lily wasn't there. Ryan went to go in, but heard Mrs. Moore's frustrated voice saying, "Lily, I've worked as a teacher for many years, and I've seen many students, but you are one of the worst. Your parents should put you in a school for kids that are slow." Ryan barely held himself together, red in rage. He wanted to go in, but that's when Lily ran out. She ran into a man and looked up. Her face was covered in tears. Ryan was burning inside. Dad, you're here," she said, happy despite her tears. Ryan picked her up and held her tightly. At that moment, Mrs. Moore came out, and there was something else to be surprised about. Lily's teacher was his bride, Caitlin's mother. When she saw who was in front of her, Mrs. Moore put a smile on, even though she was red from embarrassment, and started nervously doing something with her hands, and was unable to look Ryan in the eye. "Hello, Mrs. Moore. Seems like you've already met my daughter," Ryan said angrily. "Mr. Wilson, what an unexpected surprise! It seems you're Lily's dad. It must be destiny," she said, using all her energy to smile and try to act like nothing happened. "Destiny? I think you're right. If it wasn't for my daughter, it would be tying my destiny to your family. And yeah, I hope you realize I'll be telling the principal about your teaching methods." Ryan put Lily down, wiped away her tears, and said gently, "Okay, Grasshopper, let's go home." Mrs. Moore said something and tried to justify herself, but Ryan and Lily weren't listening. After that, he didn't see Caitlin again. Ryan noticed that didn't bother him at all. He enjoyed her company, but didn't feel anything for her anymore. Lily was transferred to another class. She did a 180. She was happy again and had the energy of a grasshopper. She was able to do all of her work, too. All her problems were because she was afraid of her teacher. And Lily made a good friend in class soon, named Susie. Lily told her about her dad and grandma all the time. One day, coming home from the grocery store, Ryan and Lily went by a playground. "Susie, it's Susie!" Lily yelled happily and ran towards the playground. Ryan ran after her. "Hello, are you Lily's dad?" a woman was asking Ryan. "I'm Alice, Susan's mom." "Nice to meet you. Lily's told me a lot about you," he answered, flustered. While the girls were playing, Ryan and Alice sat on a bench and chatted. Ryan learned that Alice moved here with Susan after getting divorced, and that they lived right next door. "Do you want some ice cream?" Lily and I bought a ton. We could share it. It was a wonderful day. After that meeting, Ryan and Alice continued to meet with their kids at the playground. A year later, they got married, and Lily and Susie proudly called each other sisters.